Hello class, welcome back in our online discussion in this course THE1 Macro Perspective of Tourism and Hospitality. So we are done with the chapter 3 about the social impact of tourism and hospitality. So we are now in the chapter 4 about the environmental impact of tourism and hospitality. So first I'm going to show you what are the topics under this chapter. First, we have this natural resource consumption, and we will discuss specifically about the energy, water, and waste management. And also, we will discuss about the biodiversity conservation, and we'll discuss specifically about the threats to fragile ecosystems, and also ecotourism and sustainable practices. And the third one will be the climate change and carbon footprint. And we will discuss specifically about the transportation, emissions, and sustainable transportation alternatives. So in this particular online discussion video, I'm going to discuss about the natural resource consumption. And we will talk specifically about the energy, water, and waste management. So first, we're going to discuss about the different areas in the natural resource consumption. First one is the energy consumption. So let's start with the energy consumption. The tourism and hospitality sectors are significant consumers of energy. So the hotels, resorts, and tourist attractions are require substantial electricity for various operations, from lighting and heating to air conditioning. So we have hotel operations contributes to high energy demand. So we know that the every establishment, especially hotels and resorts, it needs a lot of energy. So without the use of energy or electricity, it's difficult to operate in any hotel or resort establishment. It includes the lighting, HVAC systems, and the kitchen appliances. We can also imagine that if in our different houses, if we have lots of appliances, for example, refrigerator, air condition, and others, we have this um, high billing of this energy or electricity. How much more if we operate in the big establishment like hotels and resorts that have this a lot of rooms, not just rooms but also, for example, in the dining area and the kitchen, in which there are different appliances that they are using. So, in other words, if you are the owner or the manager of the um, particular establishment, there is really a high demand of energy. Okay, so it is important also that we need to resolve this problem because if we will use a lot of energy also it can affect the environment. So despite some progress in adopting renewable energy sources like solar or wind power, the industry as a whole still heavily relies on non-renewable energy and contributing to environmental issues. That is why there are many establishments adopted a renewable energy. Okay, but though there are many owner already adopted this renewable energy, but still they are using non-renewable energy, and it contributes an environmental issues. Okay, so that is the problem here in the hospitality and tourism industry. We can contribute negative impact to the environment. So that's the first one about the energy consumption. Now let's proceed to water usage. So water, another critical resource, faces immense pressure due to tourism and hospitality. So the demand of water in hotels, restaurants, and recreational facilities is substantial use for guest amenities and also the landscaping and maintenance purposes. Okay, so the first one we discussed about the energy consumption, which is the electricity. And here in this number two, we discuss about the water usage. So first one is the heavy reliance on water for gas use and maintenance. We know that if the guest will check in a particular establishment, they need use a lot of water because it is part of the essential needs of an individual. Okay, and the second one is improper water management leads to pollution and strain on local resources. So it's really important that the manager or the owner will have this proper water management. That is why they needs to also adapt the other establishment who are already implemented this water management. And also they need to send the employees to have these seminars or trainings on how to use properly the water. So it must, there are two positive things here. If there's a proper water management. First, it can save or it can less the expenses of the establishment. And the second one, it can less also the negative impact to the environment. So this mismanagement of water resources, including untreated wastewater discharge, poses significant risk to ecosystem and local community. So we already discussed this in our previous discussion, for example, in the Boracay Island, in which there are lots of hotel and resort establishment, and they are not um, treated the wastewater. So they discharge the wastewater without treating it. So it can really affects the ecosystem, the natural resources. So if we become the owner or the manager of a certain establishment, we need to um, treat the wastewater before we will discharge it to the environment. So that is the needs of a manager of an owner that we need to possess a responsibility. We need to think what will happen to the other people or in our environment if we will not um, manage properly about our waste. Okay, so in our mind, when we hear the word waste, it's all about this um, garbages. Okay, but there are also they call it water waste. Okay, water waste. We also have this water waste, not just solid waste, but we also have water waste. So same thing with the solid waste, we have this um, proper disposal of solid waste, and we segregate it according to its um, different kind of waste. Okay, so there are biodegradable, non-biodegradable, etc. Also, that is the part again. That is the part of the solid waste, and we need to think also that there is called water waste. Okay, that is another kind of waste. That is a liquid kind of waste. So we need also to have this proper disposal of water waste. Otherwise, they will apply some chemicals. They treat this um, water waste. There are two things here. First, they can reuse it. Okay, for example, they will water the plants, wash some other parts in the hotels. Okay, not consumed by the guests, only by cleaning some dirty materials or tools. Okay, it can save expenses, and also it can save the natural resources or the ecosystem. At the same time, if we're not going to use or reuse the wastewater, we can dispose it to the environment without harming the environment. Okay, so that is one of the challenge of a manager, of an owner in any establishment, that they cannot affect the environment by properly disposing the solid waste. not just solid waste but also waste, water waste. Okay, and the third one is the waste management. So waste generation is substantial challenge within these industries. So the hospitality sector produces vast amounts of solid waste, including packaging, food waste, and disposal items. And this is one of the truth here. Excessive use of single-use plastics contributes to environmental degradation. That is why there are many hotels now are applying or avoiding these single-use plastics. Okay, for example, if about the sugar and salt, for example, other establishment they use this sachet, okay, as a container of this salt. But to the other establishment who are applying or avoiding single-use plastics, instead of using sachet that is put in the plastics, they are using some proper container like bottles or other containers. For example, some of the establishment also providing this always, okay, quote unquote, always providing um, bottled water. So some establishment encourage guests to use a glass, and they have this dispenser in different areas in the establishment because they are encouraging the guests not to use plastics. Okay, because if you use a lot of single-use plastics, it can add up to the environmental degradation. Just like, for example, in the Philippines, I've noticed also this kind of culture, and I understand it because economically we are not in a good status. Okay, not like with other countries. For example, in the United States. For example, I've discovered or I've observed in the United States, there are many people instead of buying shampoo in a sachet, they're buying in a bottle. Okay, not like in the Philippines, we buy shampoo in a sachet, not in a bottle because we don't have much money to buy such shampoo in a bottle. So what will happen? What is the negative impact also with buying lots of sachet? So it can add up. For example, every day you are using a shampoo in a sachet. Okay, so just imagine every day you are using a sachet. It will add up to the garbages or solid waste. So if we use a lot of single-use plastics, it can contribute to the environmental degradation. Okay, so that is one of the negative impact. That is why the owner of the hotel or the any manager, they have this waste management and they are avoiding using of single-use plastics. Instead of using single-use plastics, they encourage the guests or they themselves apply or implemented. They have some changes or modifications on their daily operations and they are avoiding single-use plastics. You can also observe that in any fast food chains like McDonald's and Jollibee. Instead of using a plastic straw, they are using a paper straw and other container. Instead of having or using some plastic container, they are using a paper container. And also, we also observed that in the fast food restaurants before they are providing a plastic spoon and fork, but now they have this silver spoon and fork. Okay, I do believe that you all also notice that. So they want to help to mitigate this environmental degradation. And the second one is that improper waste disposals harms local ecosystems and communities. That is the disadvantage if there is improper waste disposal. So the waste management is a must, okay? Not just in the hospitality and tourism industry, but we as an individual, we need to think first, okay, before we will dispose any kind of waste in different areas that can harm local ecosystems and communities. That is why I always encourage you, if we are going to work in this particular industry, we will engage a lot of waste because we serve people. We collect and clean the garbages, we clean the waste of the guests, and we need to have this responsibility to dispose this waste in a proper location. That is why I encourage you as a students, while you are still studying in the university, I encourage you to obtain this kind of lifestyle, not throwing garbages in any areas, because again, it can affect not just the ecosystems but also the communities. Okay, so we need to become responsible in our own garbages. So addressing waste management requires a holistic approach, emphasizing waste reduction, recycling, and responsible. So now let's proceed to the solutions and strategies. So we will discuss about the solutions and strategies. So now let's explore some solutions and strategies to mitigate these environmental impacts. Number one is the adoption of energy efficient technologies and practices. That is why, again, there's a lot of establishment owners already adopted energy efficient technologies like solar panels and other renewable energy. The second one is about implementation of water saving initiatives such as low flow fixtures and gray water recycling. There are lots of establishment nowadays implemented already about the water saving initiatives. One of the water saving initiatives is low flow fixtures and gray water recycling. What do you mean by low flow fixtures? It talks about the not pressurable um, kinds of fixtures, except on the shower and other fixtures. Okay, if it not necessary to have this pressure, they will use a low flow pressure to the other fixtures. And also they have this gray water recycling. This is what I told you um, about the saving of water consumption. Okay, instead of disposing the waste to the environment, they will recycle the water. Okay, instead of disposing to the environment, they will reuse the water, for example, in watering plants and others. And the third one is embracing a circular economy model to reduce waste generation and promote recycling. So it is crucial for the industry to transition towards more sustainable practices to minimize their ecological footprint and ensure a more responsible approach to resource consumption. So now we're done and we will discuss about the conclusion. Moving towards sustainability. So in conclusion, the environmental impact of tourism and hospitality is undeniable. However, by implementing sustainable measures in energy consumptions, water usage, and waste management, these industries can significantly reduce their ecological footprint. So, as future professionals in this field, in hospitality and tourism industry, it's imperative to prioritize sustainability and responsible resource management for the well-being of our planet and the longevity of these industries. So this lectures outlines the significant impact of tourism and hospitality on natural resources, and it emphasizes the importance of adapting sustainable practices to mitigate this impact.